Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Bowhunter Chronicles podcast brought to you by Tacticam. Tacticam is by far the easiest way to begin filming your hunts. Whether it's the budget-friendly solo or the 4K 5.0, Tacticam has something for everyone. Check them out at tacticam.com. This year we're also working with Spartan Forge. Spartan Forge stands at the nexus of machine learning and white-tailed deer hunting to deliver truly intuitive and science-based products to save the hunter time spent scouting, planning, and executing their hunts. You can find them at spartanforge.ai. And basically what this is artificial intelligence for the deer woods. The farmer's almanac on steroids with data, billions of data points to back it up. Those data points are ever growing by pro staff in the field like Garrett Prawl, Taylor Chamberlain, Andy May, as well as car deer studies, social media, collar deer studies all over the region from Florida, Maine, all the way out into the Midwest and Iowa. 60 to 75% accurate. Spartan Forge is taking all this information and giving you the best odds to get on those deer. So you can check them out at spartanforge.com. You can use code BOWHUNTER to get 25% off. And as there's more data points, as there's more things, as the app is being built and moved over to your mobile devices, that causes more storage. More storage costs more money. So the sooner you get locked in at your price, that price will stay for as long as you are a patron of Spartan Forge. So again, Spartan Forge, check them out, spartanforge.ai, super cool stuff. No new Patreons in the last couple weeks. So just an update on Patreon. Patreon is a crowdfunding for creators. It helps us to do things like we're doing here at the Total Archery Challenge, putting on our cookout. We're trying to meet up with as many people. We're headed up there. Going to be doing the same thing at the Total Archery Challenge in Michigan. Helps us to buy gear, things to do reviews on, things to give away. We're constantly trying to give back. For all of you that did order shirts, I just picked up all the shirts today, so your orders will be in. We do have some extra shirts. That's an option for one of the benefits of becoming a Patreon also. But basically, like I said, it's just a donation to the show to help us, pay for our time, all the time away from family, all this other stuff. Starts out at like 17 cents a day. I mean, 17 cents. You throw that away, right? That really, really does help us out. And to give back, we have giveaways from our partners, things where the companies that we're working with want to give back. I'll be doing the giveaway for this last quarter. That one will be coming up on Monday, so we'll go live on Instagram on Monday and knock out those giveaways for you. This quarter, Tacticam is giving away a fisheye package, and so their fisheyes are super cool. It's submersible Tacticam, doesn't take any sort of different case, and everything's waterproof, and it's wireless. It has loop mode, and honestly, I think this is going to be the Tacticam solo killer. It's right about the same price point, but it has a wide option. So prior to this, you could have that 4K wide. That was your only option for a wireless wide angle camera. All the other Tacticams have some form of zoom. So for that true POV view or anything like that, it just wasn't an option. And the solo, you can turn it on with a Wi-Fi with your phone, but these Tacticam, the fisheyes also use the remote. So these are super cool. Tacticam's giving away a fisheye package this quarter. We have purchased, or we've got our order in. So with all this hunting stuff, you know how all that goes. But we've got our order in from one of Dan Infalt's beast stands. So we're going to be giving away one of those. It's like a $625 stand. So we're just waiting on that, and we'll be giving that away this time as well. Base map. So we love base map over here. I mean, just the value alone is incredible. $30 for the entire country for the entire year. which on most of the other ones, that'll only get you one state. And the amount of layers, all of those different things over the summer, they've got lakes and rivers, depths, on most of the inland lakes. We're here in Michigan, so I haven't been on a lake yet where it didn't give me the depth. And I think that's incredibly valuable. And then if you use code Chronicles, you got to go online to basemap.com. You can save 20% on that, so it ends up being $24 a month. $24 for the entire year. That's $2 a month. But Basemap gives away one of their, nationwide pro packages. And one of the things that we haven't talked about that much is they do weekly giveaways as well. So you can go on to Basemap, even on the free version, and learn how to use the map, get familiar with the features of it, and have a chance to win, incredible prizes, like, a couple $1,000s worth of prizes every week, some weeks. So you should definitely check it out. If you haven't even looked at Basemap, definitely check them out. Spartan Forge, they're giving away a year subscription. And like I say, their app is due out in July, end of August. But they're, continually improving. So that's getting better every month, every week. Some great things going on over there. And both Basemap and Spartan Forge are giving away swag packs, so hat, shirt, that whole thing. And then Zinger Fletches. So Zinger Fletchings, those guys have reached out to us. I've got some of their older fletchings, and actually the end of this week, April 8th, they're releasing their new fletchings. I've already got some of those. And if you've seen the original Zinger Fletches, they're 3D printed. They're a little bit stiffer. These are just like a normal fletch, flexible like you would expect. But, for guys that aren't into building their arrows, or, for a trip that you want to have some extra, if you mess up some fletchings, or, something happens, as inevitably it does, you can just throw a couple of those on there. They're just compression fit for your arrows, and, a really, really cool product. And they're a different shape to be a little bit quieter. So they're giving away some of those as well. And you can check all of that out at patreon.com/Bowhunter Chronicles podcast if you want to be a part of that. We've got a Marco Polo group that we set up for our Patreons, and it's really cool. I think I've realized that it's more like the old school hunting forum. So somebody asks a question, and then without just the way that social media goes, everybody's a hero and they know everything. It's a way to actually get information amongst a good group of people that all have the same motive, and it's not a pissing contest. So that's one of the cooler things that have come out of our Patreon, is building that community. So like I say, if you guys can help out, that would be great. You can go to the website, Bowhunter Chronicles Podcast, and click on the Patreon tab on Instagram, right up at the top, underneath our bow giveaway. So we are giving away a bow. We're giving away a Bowtech Carbon Zion that's coming right out of our own pockets. Obviously with help from the Patreons. Like I said, that funds this show. So we're getting that bow from Johnson's Great Outdoors. Mitch is helping us out on the pricing of that. It's got a HHA Tetra sight on it. Chris over at HHA donated one of the single pin high-end sights. I mean, it's the one that he recommended. It's a great sight, as well as the rest. And we're still working out a deal for some stabilizers on it. I mean, this bow is going to be incredibly set up. Over $1,000 worth of money, spent on this bow. And all you got to do is sign up to win on our Instagram. You just go to the top, click on the link, sign up. That's it. You don't have to be a Patreon. You don't have to do anything. So we're giving that away to say thank you for everything that, for supporting the show, just for listening. So, but this week's podcast is TJ Jordan. TJ is, I believe he's killed 26 or 27 states. He's actually hunting out west right now. On spring break, he's taking his 8-year-old son out there. He was chasing the Super Slam, but now that he's got a kid that's hunting, he's focused more on getting his kid to kill some turkeys. But he is a champion friction caller. He calls for Matt Van Sice, and he has his own company, Dirt Nap Game Calls. And we talk about turkey tactics, calling, and maybe a little bit of, lots of things that I wasn't aware of or things that I didn't do in my calling. So I think you guys are really going to enjoy this podcast. And as always, thank you for listening. Tell somebody about the show. Tell them that we suck and you got to listen to these guys because they don't know what they're talking about. Or maybe there's something that you've got out of the episode that you say, hey, this might help you because you're a terrible turkey caller. All of those, things that we do with our friends when we were trying to get them to listen to something. But we really do appreciate everybody. Thank you for listening. Enjoy the episode. All right, everybody, Adam and John back with another episode of the Bowhunter Chronicles podcast. Shifting gears a little bit as we move towards turkey season. We're going to talk a little bit about turkey calling. We didn't bring on Uncle Frank because he can get a little sideways here and there. So, but we do have a guest on here, TJ Jordan, and we'll let TJ kind of introduce himself because. Real humble guy and doesn't, he's got a company and all this stuff. Doesn't want to talk about that. Wants to talk about turkey hunting and we want to know how to call turkeys. So, how are you doing tonight, TJ?
Well, I'm doing great. Thanks, Adam and John, for having me on. I appreciate it.
And so this is his first podcast. So we're going to try and, make it as easy and seamless as possible. I told him, I said, if you like talking about hunting and talking about turkeys, this should be an easy podcast. So,
yes, sir.
So what's your story? How did you get into hunting, and where are you located? All of that fun stuff.
Yeah, so I'm located in upstate New York. I mean, not to be associated with New York City, but I'm about 30 minutes from the Adirondack Mountains, so I'm pretty, pretty hilly country, mountainous terrain, nothing crazy, but it's beautiful country. I mean, it's upstate New York's finest. I'm 39 years old now. I'm a sixth grade math teacher, and I guess I got into hunting when I was 12 years old. My dad took me out my first turkey hunt, my brother and I, and it was just, we just went out in the woods and. Dad said, I'll sit down here with your brother and you go up on there and see if there's any turkeys. And I couldn't believe it, man. I mean, it was a fall time of the year and there was a flock of about 40 turkeys, 40 hen turkeys, hens and mixed flock of hens and jakes. And they were roosted right above me. And I had a New England Firearms 20 gauge with probably like clay target size shot, 7.5 or something that you shouldn't have at 12 years old. And I remember I had to get on my knees and crawl to this long grass to get a shot at these turkeys, and I shot. This turkey rolled over, got up and flew away, and I was just, from that point on, I've been hooked. My dad's not a hunter; he's a Vietnam veteran, so he's not a big time hunter, but he definitely introduced me to the outdoors, and I take him out, every spring, and he goes on a turkey hunt, and we can't walk very far. It's probably one of my toughest hunts of the year, but it's definitely my most enjoyable. So I got my start, with my dad getting me turkey hunting, and then from there it's kind of been, generation at 39 years old. It's been books and DVDs and reading things. I mean, YouTube wasn't a thing when I was really coming through the turkey world, so it's kind of like, the best lessons, the failures, and all the failures you kind of put together and string it all together. So I've kind of been a homemade turkey hunter, I would call it.
So do you hunt any other species or just turkeys?
I do, John. I hunt deer. I'm an avid whitetail deer hunter. I love deer hunting. I actually hunt deer on some of the finest property in Washington County. My cousin has a quality deer management, and it's a managed piece, and it's phenomenal hunting. I mean, I can't, it's unbelievable. So I hunt deer. I hunt coyotes. I enjoy waterfowl hunting too. I've really just gotten into the last couple of years the predator thing, just to give me something to do through the winter months. But that's incredibly hard in New York. I mean, there's not a ton of predators, and it's really hard to call them in. And I'm using night vision and things of that nature. But yeah, so I hunt almost anything and everything that I can try. But I am an avid deer, turkey, and I would say predator hunter.
Awesome.
So what's the turkey population or whatever like in New York? I don't think of that as a turkey state. And so like John here, like I didn't grow up turkey hunting. I only since I got John is my wife's cousin. And so
Okay.
Only since I've been in this family have I ever turkey hunted. But like John, like what was the turkey climate like when you were growing up? Because Michigan didn't have a season for a long time.
Right. So I mean, it started out, I was, in my teens, and, Uncle Frank and my dad, they turkey hunt. But back then it was, you're lucky to get a tag. I mean, there was very few turkeys, and we had to go north of here. Like there was no turkeys around our house and stuff like that. So we had to go up north, put in for the draw. And, I think it was maybe every other year, every 2 years we'd get a tag. Like someone in the group would get a tag every year, but not all of us. And if we did, it was like a real, we lucked out, but there just
you won the lottery.
Yeah, exactly. But there wasn't a lot of people that, it was just kind of like our own little niche. Like there wasn't a lot of people that are turkey hunting. But now it's changed. I mean, now there's holy crap, there's flocks everywhere. You got, I mean, one of our good friends just hit a flock of turkeys with her car, with her fiance's car, and totaled out his Audi.
What's funny is my wife just got her car repaired because she hit a turkey, and I told her that last December, but we just got it repaired now. But she hit a turkey on the way home from work, and I was like, "That's paying us back for all the turkeys that I've shot."
Some karma.
So yeah, it's definitely some karma.
Maybe it's you haven't killed enough. You got to just knock
that. That's it. That could be it. You can never kill enough of them.
Right.
Yeah. So what's the turkey hunting like in New York? Because like I said, I don't really think of that as like a turkey hunting destination.
Yeah, I would say you're right. I mean, Michigan is definitely a well-managed state for turkey hunting. You guys have seemed to do everything, population-wise. That's incredibly, awesome. New York State, it's so big and so vast and just so different. Like where I live, it's hilly terrain, mountainous, type of stuff as you go further north. And then in the western part, it's more flat land. It's more like Midwest hunting. But believe it or not, it depends on where you are in New York. So like central New York, parts of central New York, parts of far eastern New York, northern New York, up near Plattsburgh and those areas, downstate, those areas are just absolutely booming with turkey numbers. You can shoot 2 turkeys in the spring, 2 males in the spring, and then you can shoot 1 female in the fall. Now they changed that regulation. It used to be 2 and 2. So it's booming. But there are parts of New York State where the population is really hurting. They say that some parts out in western New York State are the population density is really affected. I mean, it's really low. I have not seen that in my area, but overall, it's an incredible state to turkey hunt. A non-resident tag is just over $100. I mean, it might be $125 to kill 2 turkeys, and you can hunt spring and fall. So it's a pretty good place to draw a tag and get a tag in a turkey hunt.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about calling. So we've got you on here to talk about calling. So why would you say that is?
Yeah, so I am a turkey hunter. I am second nature turkey caller. I guess what happened was I just started turkey calling, and I want to do something outside with turkeys other than just turkey season. I kind of want to extend the turkey brotherhood. So I went to a contest in Massachusetts, and obviously, met some awesome people, and and really got my feet wet. Like, I was ripping on a box call in my first contest, and guys were looking at me like, what is this guy doing? I mean, this is a mouth call contest. And, I think I was like the laughing stock, like the first contest. And it's really been relatively new for me. I'd probably say, within the past 7 years, I've really started to call in contest world. So I jumped in as, you can jump in at different levels. I jumped in as a hunter class. Didn't do anything in my first contest. Went to New York, and I actually won a hunter division. And once you win a division, you kind of have to move out of that division. So once you win a hunter class division, you would have to move into, like an open division. So an open would mean mouth call or friction. Anything you want to bring to the table, you can call with. It's an open class, and that's where generally the best of the best will call in. Once you get to that class, there's really nowhere to go from there. But everybody really starts in the hunter division if you were just to get into it. You know what I mean? Then you would bounce your way up. But if you don't, if you don't win those, you can stay in the hunter division and call there. But I've met some of my best buddies in turkey calling. Last year I qualified for Grand Nationals. I was going to go down and call on the big stage for friction calls, down in Nashville, Tennessee, at the Gaylord Opryland Hotel, at the NWTF National Convention. COVID hit. It was actually the first year I qualified. My buddy Phil Salzano, we had a memorial turkey calling championship for him in Vermont. And I actually ended up winning that friction contest, which qualified me to call in Nashville at the big stage. So it's just something to do. I enjoy it. It keeps me fresh on my calls. I really enjoy friction calls. To be dead honest with both of you, I sucked at mouth calling. So I said to myself, what am I going to do? Like, I go to the store and I buy a mouth call and I pick anyone off the shelf, and none of them really work for me. So then I was like, all right, well, what's the only way to get good is just to buy my own press. I got to start making my own. I got to figure this stuff out. So I bought a jig. I bought a mouth call jig, and I bought some press, and I bought some latex and some frames. And I'm like, I'm going to start making some mouth calls and, just talking to people I filled up garbage bags of mouth calls by just trial and error. Oh, not right. Didn't sound right. Throw it out. Too tight, too loose. And I take notes on everything. And then finally I got something that worked, and I'm like, all right, well, maybe I should, start a calling company and sell some of these things to pay for some of my bad habits, like, like turkey hunting, traveling the country, buying turkey calls, and all, buying hunting stuff. So that's kind of where it really blended into it. And from there it was just about turkey, calling, just being the best I can be. You know what I mean? Like, being okay was all right, but I really wanted to be, I really wanted to sound like a wild turkey, the best that I thought I could sound like a wild turkey. Not just okay, that will kill a turkey. Like, I want it to be a wild turkey. You know what I mean? Like, I want to make that turkey. When guys are saying that, why aren't those birds gobbling? I want to be the guy that makes that turkey gobble. Like, why did that turkey gobble to you? Why did he gobble that call? What are you doing? So those are the reasons why I guess I really became passionate about sounds of the wild turkey.
I gotta think, like, from this standpoint, and like John can probably back me up here, but like the first thing that's coming to my mind is your wife has to be like a saint because
Or deaf.
because like
Yeah. Well, Adam, I mean, you're right. I mean, it's not only that; it's a passion for me. Like, so I'm part of the NWTF, so it's like turkey, 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 turkey. For crying out loud, I have Rio Grande turkeys as pets in my backyard. So she's even opened up to the, holy Christ, we got, pet turkeys, in our backyard, and it's only because I want to hear them 24/7. When I want to hear a gobble, I grab a call, I go to the door, and I rip on it, and I listen to them gobble, and I hear the hen cut up and yelp, and just all sorts of crazy stuff. So my wife, Marcy, she is an absolute saint. I don't know how she deals with it. She listens to me play a turkey call every day of her existence is she hears me play something. But that's what we do. I mean, that's what, diehard turkey hunters, that's what they do. They have a turkey call by them 24/7. And at some point in time, that turkey call is going to get played.
And you already answered my question. I was going to say, so, how do you, learn, how do you, communicate with these turkeys? But obviously you just answered, said you got turkeys in your own backyard. So, I mean,
Yeah,
obviously.
and that's the thing. Like, I mean, Johnny, think about it. Like, everybody's like, how can I get better? How can I get better? I used to record myself a lot, like, just audio voice recording. I'd send them to, the top turkey callers, the country, like, Matt Van Sice or, Brett Ledoux or, guys that know turkey when they hear turkey. And I would send my sound files to those guys. And obviously, sometimes you get crickets. Like, man, you're thinking, dang, that sucked. And then maybe you'll get like from Sadler McGraw, oh, that's better. You're getting it. You know what I mean? And then you listen to yourself and you're like, God, that is not. I wanted to sound like Jussie Martin when I rapped on that call, and that sounds like just absolute garbage. So then I was like, all right, if I get some turkeys, I can listen to their cadence and their tones and things of that nature that I'm hearing on some audio tapes that I would play on the way to work because I have an hour commute every day, and just trying to be the most realistic that I can get. Because like I said, it is an absolute obsession. So that's what I really would try to do is just, get people's feedback, listen to audio, try to be like a wild turkey, which
So,
is crazy.
so for a guy like, my deal here is like the world's worst bow hunter. I could probably legitimately be. Actually, I would say that I'm not the world's worst elk caller because I've been watching the Hunt Wars, and they just pulled these
Yeah.
guys out of Alabama and stuff, and I'm like, I'm better than that, man. I'm better than that, and I'm okay. I like when you talk friction calls, like I like a slate call. Like I've got
Yes,
a
sir.
couple that I just go to, like box call. I hate the sound of it. It clicks like when I don't have no technique. But we've got a lot of guys that are, trying to learn turkey hunting. Maybe didn't grow up turkey hunting or kind of moving towards it. So where should guys start out? Like when they're turkey calling. I mean, when guys ask you what to do, like I mean, and in this, I didn't learn turkey hunting from my dad, so I think of my dad out there just with this box call, just wop 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 wop.
How about the old push button yelper?
Yeah. Yes, the old push button. Yeah, you attach it to your barrel of your gun. You got a little string, and you just yank on it. Yeah, I mean, honestly, Adam, yeah, what I try to tell guys, like, I mean, this podcast could go on for hours if we want to talk about this stuff. I mean, this is stuff that I enjoy talking about to people. I just had a conversation. A guy reached out to me about this exact same question the other day. Listen, I want to get into turkey hunting. I don't really have any private land, and what do I need? What do I do? How do I get into this? What do I have to do? So I guess you really need to figure out. I guess what I would tell people is, no matter what you do, you're not gonna. To me, like a guy, like I think the biggest question I get is, what do I not do? You know what I mean? Like, I don't think there's anything you can do. I think if you call to a turkey, like, guys are like, oh, did I overcall? Did I undercall? Could I have done this differently? I honestly think that, sometimes, like, it doesn't matter really what you do to that turkey. It's not gonna screw up your hunt. It's gonna be more of your setup. Did that turkey want to go there? Generally, when a turkey comes in, no matter what you sound like or what you call like, when he's ready to come, he's gonna come. I don't. I don't know. I just maybe I have a different approach than people. We'll get into kind of my strategies and what I would do, but I would say like if you were to go in the woods, get yourself a box call, something that you can easily run, a push button call, a mouth call, something that you can be hands free with, maybe something to strike them at a distance, like a box call and then a mouth call to finish something off. But I would say just be more of an observer than than a caller at that point in time. When you get used to things and things are going your way, you can call. I mean, I got a buddy, my best buddy that I travel with. He's one of the best callers in the world, Brett Ledoux. Um, he calls a ton, and I don't even call a quarter what he calls. And I'm like, Brett, we probably could have killed that turkey if you didn't call. You know, so we'll go back and forth, but I personally say a box call, get a box call, get a mouth call, and just be an observer. Just be, work on setup and how to move on a turkey and know when to move on a turkey and when not to, when to, and how to maneuver on a turkey. And I think those things are more important than actually calling to a wild turkey.
All right, so the listener, he's driving along in his truck right now, and he's saying, "What the hell, man? How do I figure that out? Like, how do I know when to do it?" Like,
Correct.
so, like, I guess what tips would you have? Like I say, like starting out as a caller, like if they don't know when to call or they don't, like they just, you got a guy that says, I want to get out more. I got some public land around me. It's got turkeys. I didn't grow up turkey hunting. I don't really have a mentor. I'm just going to go and make some noise out there.
Make fire, make that box call start to smoke. Then you're gonna hammer and bend that screw on that box call. You know what I would say. What I would say is what I would do. Typical hunt situation is, I'm gonna get somewhere where I can. You guys probably heard this 1,000 times, but I'm gonna get somewhere where I can maneuver on a turkey, especially a public land gobbler. I'm gonna look at where that turkey is. I'm gonna say if I'm on public land, I'm gonna try to get to an area where you know every Tom, Dick, Harry, and Fred have not come in at that turkey. So if there's an easy access, a parking spot where everybody is walking in at that turkey day after day after day, I'm going to probably look for something that's going to get around, come in at a different angle, get to where, just something different than that turkey's used to every single day. And then once I'm in there and that turkey is gobbling in the tree, and this is not roosting a turkey the night before. This is just driving down the road in the morning and I hear that turkey gobble, and now I'm putting a game plan together how I'm going to kill that turkey. So I would come in, approach differently than everybody else, going in at a different angle. And then what I would do is I would try to get to as close to that turkey as possible. And I'm a guy now when it comes to getting close, I'm talking I want to get close. It depends. Now if it's late in the year and there's a lot of leaves on the trees, I'm gonna get close to that turkey. If there's not, if it's early in the spring, I'm gonna try to get close, but you got to be careful because you don't, there's nothing to cover you. Um, and then once I'm in there, I'm gonna sit down and I'm probably gonna listen to what's going on in the woods. I'm not gonna get after that call right away. I'm not gonna call at all, to be honest. Probably more than likely not. I might scratch in the leaves a little bit and until that turkey hits the ground. I may tree yelp a little bit, but I'm really not gonna get after that turkey at all until he hits the ground. And then once he gets the ground, I'm gonna get an idea of what's going on with the hens, where are things located, and then I might try to get after him with that box call. I might call to him, and then I'm trying to just kind of evaluate the situation. Like, okay, I'm calling, he's gobbling to me, or the hens are yelping back to me. I have some sort of interaction. Is he getting closer to me? Is he working away from me? Is he working left? Is he working right? Where is he going? And then from that point, I'm really reading that turkey's gobble. So if I call and he gobbles to me and he's not coming, right? He definitely he's just playing Mother Nature. He wants me to go. He wants me to go to him, right? So we're trying to reverse that whole role. We're not trying to, we're trying to get him to come to us, which is totally against Mother Nature, but it obviously happens all the time. So at that point, if I'm calling that turkey and he's gobbling back to me every single time, it's like, all right, we're playing a game, and we've all been there. Like John and Adam, you probably call that turkey, he just stands out there hammering, right? So you call, he gobbles. You call, he gobbles, right? Well, I'd like to say, like, maybe I would shut up for a minute and see what happens, and then let him gobble on his own. Because now he's thinking, like, all right, my girlfriend was over there. Every time she calls, I'm gonna gobble, but I'm not getting real close. So now I'm just gonna shut up for a minute and I'm gonna wait and I'm gonna see what he does and I'm gonna see if he gobbles. And if he gobbles, now I know. Now I kind of got him. And I'm gonna wait a minute. I'm not gonna call to him right away when he gobbles. And I'm gonna see what happens again. I'm gonna kind of read that gobble. So he gobbles again. Boom. Now I'm gonna wait one more time. And when he gobbles again, I'm gonna cut him off. And basically what happened, the way I portray that in human nature is like, Adam and John, think about this. You go to work one day and your colleague, one of your coworkers says, "Hey, Adam, I really like that shirt on you. It makes your eyes look nice today." Or, "Hey, John, your mustache is really on point today. It looks good." So what happened is you just changed that whole conversation. So instead of him giving you a compliment every single time when you called and he gobbles, now he gobbles and you're giving him a compliment. And we all know in the world of men, when men get a compliment, it's like, damn, I'm going to wear that shirt every day, and this stash is going to be on point. It's going to be on check. So I like to throw that out there and really get him excited and get him thinking about me and trying to throw that compliment to him. I'm trying to reverse those roles, to get him more excited. And hopefully at that point, that might be that breaking point to, get him to come to me. And if it doesn't, then I'm just going back to the game plan. Maybe he's still got hens with him. Maybe he's working away. I'm going to try to circle way around him, trying to get ahead of him. Always trying to get ahead of the game. So I guess being more of an active listener in the woods, the calling part of things isn't really gonna, isn't gonna screw you up in those situations. Situations I hear guys get into all the time is, I sat by the tree, I didn't call like you said, and then I started calling, and calling, and the bird just kept going away, and I kept moving up on him, and he kept moving away from me, and I kept going, kept going at him. Well, at that point, you got to say to yourself, you got to circle around that situation and get to where he wants to be, and just maybe not call so much at that point in time, until you get in a position around him, and just try to keep closing that gap like a good old chess game.
Right.
So those are some situation, some more situational stuff. But I really like to change that role of I like to give the compliment instead of me calling. I like to flip that around at some point in the game.
You ever give him the old, like, the slingshot move like we do in elk hunting? But I know Frank used to set up and he would call, and then like, yeah, that bird's, he's not really moving. And then he'd go back like 20, 30 yards, even 40 yards and call a little bit. And then that bird would be like, oh, now she's walking away. I'm going to go back over there and check her out. You ever?
Yeah, and that works well when you obviously when you hunt with somebody,
right?
Because you could have somebody get up and walk away, or those things are awesome. Get up, walk 100 yards away, call to them, and then come back, and then come back in. Those are great situational things to do when you have a hen up gobbler. You know what I mean? It's I don't know if I like the word really henned up. I don't know if they're really, I don't know. I don't know if I believe in that philosophy so much. I think every gobbler is definitely killable, just based upon situational type stuff. But yeah, those are all phenomenal tactics of what I would do on a normal turkey hunt.
So one of the things you said there is one of the things that first of all, John and I were chuckling because, when you said you want to get real close, we set up last year, like underneath these turkeys, like.
Well, on accident. It wasn't, I mean, I put them to bed the night before, and I told Adam, like, all right, I know they're like, I was showing them on our base map, like they're right over here. And then we start walking in, and I'm like, I flip on my phone, and I'm like, oh shit, we've walked too far. We're close to them. I'm close to where I think they're at anyway. It's not like I seen where they were. And sure enough, we went back a little bit, and they were right above us. They're gobbling.
How'd that make out?
Oh, they just flew down, went the other way.
Really?
Yeah, we didn't spook her because they were still gobbling and they flew down, but they just
But that's one of the things that I would want to talk about, like when you're saying that, and I think there's a level of patience and like confidence that you have to have turkey hunting, and especially when you can't see the birds and they're gobbling. But when you talk about not even calling until they hit the ground, like from that instance, like those turkeys stayed in the tree a lot longer than I expected them to. And the other spot where John killed his bird last year, I've hunted there, deer hunted, and seen the turkeys in the trees well after date. I mean, like when I would have expected them to be down. Um, and so that's an interesting like thing to actually understand, like at what time do they fly down, and especially based on temperature and other stuff like that. But I think one of the things that like everybody gets caught up in I mean, Frank's been killing turkeys a long time, and he's probably the most seasoned and has the patience to do it. But I feel like everybody that I hunt with, and I fall victim to this myself, is that you love hearing them gobble. So it's like you call, they gobble, and then you're like, oh, if I just call again, they'll gobble again, and you get.
I think sometimes that's a detriment to it because we seen it right in the video a couple years ago, and Adam had a shot at a bird, and Frank was right behind the tent calling, and he couldn't see the actual bird. There was another one gobbling like 50 yards past the one that actually came in, and so Frank's calling, and this bird comes in quiet, and all of a sudden Adam's like, there he is on the side, he points him out. He's right there on the edge of the field. Well, he come in completely silent.
Other than drumming.
Yeah. But he's walking across. Well, Frank didn't see him coming, so all of a sudden Frank would start yelping, yelp, and that bird would stop and he'd start strutting. And otherwise he was just like, he was on a straight walk towards us. And then he'd start coming towards us, and then Frank would call again. He'd stop and start, strutting and drumming. And he ended up coming into like 5 yards, but that's a whole nother story. But
so I mean, how close? Like you said, call too much. I have been fortunate in my life, in my 39 years of existence, to really hunt with some amazing turkey hunters. Guys, some super slammers, and guys who have shot the super slam, and southern hunters and northern hunters and western hunters. I've really had the experience to hunt with a lot of phenomenal turkey hunters. And one thing I picked up on this is there's this guy by the name of Clay Johnson. He's a super slammer. He's from Mississippi. I was hunting this turkey one day, and I was probably in my 20s, and he came in and he killed this turkey. And I said, Clay, how did you kill that? How did you know? Like, we set up, and I was like, how did you kill that turkey? He said, TJ, he says, curiosity kills a cat. And I've hunted with guys ever since, and and I hunted with guys that call a lot. I've hunted with guys that don't call a lot, and I kind of take a mixed bag of those tricks, because I don't like to say, oh, you don't call a lot, and you call a lot, and, because I've seen it, there's no right answer.
right.
You know what I mean? It's not like, don't call or, I think that's crazy. But when that happened and I saw that turkey die, I was like, God, and I've seen other turkeys that I know guys wouldn't kill because they called to them. And I think, John, you're right on it. Like, I'm a turkey caller. I like to hear myself call, but in the end, I like to see a dead turkey.
Right.
So ultimately it's all situational, but I think you can kill a lot more by being a patient and not, like you said, Adam, like everybody goes turkey hunting because they want to hear that turkey gobble. And I love to hear that turkey gobble too, but you got to remember, like you said, drumming is a turkey noise. That turkey sometimes is going to come in just drumming. He may not gobble. He might just drum and he come in. I killed a turkey in Mississippi one year that gobbled 200 yards out, 300 yards out, and then came the whole rest of the way drumming, and I killed him on the drum. It's just it is so situational. There is no real right or wrong thing. And I hate telling guys do exactly this, do exactly this. I will say to most guys that I talk to, call and just learn from situations rather than calling too much. Um, if you hit the right gobbler, no matter what you throw at him, he's going to come in.
Right.
You know what I mean? But public land hunters versus private land hunters. There's a difference right there. Guys that hunt birds that are pressured all week long. I mean, they got to do things different. They're gonna do things differently. But you know, it's all situational, and I guess it's all based upon what you enjoy to do, your tactic. You know what I mean? What you like to do as a hunter. If
Yep.
you enjoy, like I got a buddy that I hunt with, he loves to call. He loves to hear turkeys gobble. My buddy Brett, he kills turkeys. He kills a bunch of turkeys. Um, could he kill more possibly if he didn't call as much? My opinion, yes. But that's not how he wants to hunt though. So, I guess it's all what you want, what you envision, what you want for yourself. If you like to call, go call. If you don't like to call, don't call.
Right. I think some
you know?
guys, and even I'm afraid of this, and it's like, I, I want to sound perfect, but I've heard birds in the woods that I was like, what the hell was that? And then here comes a hen walking by. I'm like, wow, man, I could call better than she can, like,
Right. Yeah, and that's it. That's why, like I got a hen out in my backyard right now. She's she's a hen. You know what I mean? They're all different, you know. We can tell each one of our voices right now apart. When you talk, I've never seen you, John, but I can tell your voice apart from Adam's, and that gobbler can tell his girlfriend's voice away from you apart from yours.
right.
You know what I mean? When she's yelping, he knows that's her. It's just it's different.
Right.
I
Well,
think you're right.
well, and you talk about that, like that learning experience. Like I've been in, you know, a bunch of situations where I've called in hens, and to listen to the hens just clucking and purring and whatever. But I think one of the most fun times is I got into a spitting match with this hen, this giant gobbler that my brother didn't shoot because we didn't grow up turkey hunting, and he thought it was too far for this 3.5 inch 10 gauge at 40 yards.
Yep.
And I mean, just the biggest turkey that I've ever seen. But from the other way, I called in this hen that was just spitting, and I mean, I know if that translated to English, he was saying some bad things to me. But I was just mimicking everything that she said. That all the sounds that she was making, I was just making them right back, and that was an extremely good learning experience for me, because it was just you don't get to hear that like in real life that often, or at least unless you have turkeys in your backyard, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's a point, like you pointed out. That's a good situational point right there, right? You were calling to a gobbler, and you heard when this hen was cutting you off. You're like, all right, I'm just going to keep giving her right back to her. Next thing you know, it's like, man, she's getting closer. I'm going to keep calling to her. I mean, that's a situational strategy. You just pissed her off, and now she's coming to investigate. And next thing you know, she's going to drag behind her boyfriend, who's going to follow her, and you're going to kill him. I mean, that's just the way. That's situational type stuff, right? Or it could work out where you're going to call and she's going to go the other way because maybe she got rained on last night, and she's really not in the mood to get in a fight with another hen. So that's a perfect example of being aware of the situation that's going on with turkey vocabulary. I like to listen to the flock that I'm working with, and try to really hone in on what works with that flock. I've noticed, just kind of random stuff here with my turkey out back, my gobbler. He's a Rio Grande gobbler, and my hen are Rio Grande turkeys. I have noticed no matter what turkey call that I pull out, any slate, box call, you name it, he'll gobble like a son of a gun at first, but then he'll settle down. Like he might keep gobbling, but what he really gobbles to is a really low slate call, like I got a Lonnie Sneed slate call that I use that's just really just soft. And then I have a tube call that I use. It's a 2-inch Osage tube call that I Jake Yelp on. He goes anytime you slow it down to a Jake cadence, like just like really slow, not henny, like he hammers. I mean, non-stop hammers. So anytime it's like Jakey or um like any Jake Yelpin stuff or slow cadence, he goes ballistic. Um, and I've seen it work in the turkey woods. Like my buddy Chris Walls has a tube call, and I was like, Chris, I've never seen a turkey act like that. I mean, those turkeys lost their mind, and that's what it was. It was just Jake Yelpin, and then he's throwing a gobble. And it doesn't need to be perfect. I suck on a tube call. But it's just different. It's slower. It's a slower cadence. It's somewhat jakey. But even my turkey loses his mind on it. So
So
I always have one of those.
so with that, for guys that are just starting out, like, can you go through like the different types of calls, and especially like with you being a friction guy, like the properties maybe of the different materials? So like crystal or aluminum, copper, actual slate or whatever,
Yeah,
like, and which would be a good like starter call? Because some of them, I mean, like the cheapest one at Walmart, like for me, is like the most difficult call in the world to use, like
to
those
run.
those crystals or whatever. Like that's not for me. But
Yeah. So I would say that I call for so John, I call for Matt Van Sice. So when I got into calling, I started making my own mouth calls, but I really and truly, heart to hearts, I am a friction call guy. Like I love a box. I love anything that you can rub together to make sound. So I was like, I want to call for somebody. I want to call for the best. And Matt Van Sice is the best friction call champion. He's the number one friction call champion in the world. He's the best. He's the GOAT. So I call for him, and he sends me box calls and he sends me friction calls, and I will say, like you said, Adam, I think sometimes crystal calls and glass calls are hard for guys. Because the morning moisture will get on there, on that glass surface or that surface, and if you don't have a waterproof striker, it's gonna run not great for you. I don't think you can go wrong with any type of slate call. I personally prefer a green slate or a red slate, and then any type of, I believe, aluminum and anodized aluminum, any type of aluminum call. Ceramic is really popular right now. Those are what I would recommend to guys: either a green slate, red slate, ceramic, or any type of anodized aluminum, or like they call it, I think, rock aluminum, or basic aluminum call.
okay,
I don't think you go wrong with any of those at all.
and what is the? I mean, what's the main differences in the materials? I mean, is there a different sound, a different like ease of use? Like what makes calls different?
Yeah, so for me, a lot of the calls, so I might have, so for example, if I'm going to go hunting, I might have, let's say I have 3 pot calls that I'm going to bring that day. Okay, so one surface is going to be crystal, one surface is going to be slate, and then one surface might be, like aluminum or something else. Um, the purpose of those calls, so a crystal call would be, kind of, for me, I get cleaner yelps out of a crystal call. Really, really good front ends, really good back ends, just real clean, and I can cut really well on them. So cutting sounds I can do, on a crystal call. Um, Slate call, a lot of soft calling, like a lot of, like, just like content, turkey clucks, soft yelps, like comfortable yelps, like not like excited yelps, but just real soft type of stuff. A lot of purrs, a lot of beginners will like to just purr on a slate call. So I like slate call for that type of stuff. Ceramic, same thing. I mean, it's just the sound quality, but where I can really change the sound call is in the strikers that I'm using. So I might have 3 different pot calls, but I might have 6 different strikers. In the striker woods on them, I get subtle differences in my turkey sound. Like, I might, one slate call, I could change the striker 3 times on it, and I'm going to get 3 different heads. So that's kind of what I'm kind of doing. I just kind of want to act like a lot of turkeys, or more than one turkey, basically. Um, I personally enjoy walking into a room full of girls rather than just one. So that's kind of what I like to portray as, like, hey, there's a bigger, better party over here. So I wouldn't say, I mean, it's really more about, like you said, you like crystal, or you don't like crystal in glass per se, and I would say those are more difficult for the general guy to run. I would think most people probably gravitate towards a slate call, of some sort. I think um, green slate over glass, copper, anything of that nature is just different. Some things are higher pitch. Some guys think that, if I have anodized aluminum or rock aluminum or copper or any type of metal, a lot of guys just like the front end on that call, and it's really like a higher pitch call, louder call, cuts through the wind more. I think guys just like that because of the versatility. I think a lot of guys are going to like waterproof strikers because of the whole morning condensation dew type thing is a problem for guys. So I think more or less the woods of a striker that I use, are more effective than the call surface itself, I would say.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, I mean, your average guy is either going to go to Walmart or Bass Pro and pick
Correct.
up something, that's there and it's going to be based on price, or they're going to be, on social media and somebody says, "Oh, this is a good call," or um, they're going to be looking at turkey calls and they're going to be get a targeted ad from somebody that's this is the greatest turkey call ever.
Yeah.
But it may not be, well, like I said, depending on material or whatever, ease of use. And when you were talking about the condensation, we'll add into that sweat from having it on there because that was what was happening with the turkeys right above us, and John's turkey calls going.
Yeah. Yeah. I get it. Yeah. It's so funny, right? It happens. And that's what happens to guys. And, with condensation, like on a slate call, you can take a lighter and burn it off. But when you got turkeys above your head, it's too late for that. You know what I mean? I can't move. You can't move. So slate call is the way to go. I think you're always going to get some sort of surface, ceramic. But you're right. Anything that you can get, most guys are going to go to Walmart and grab one, and that's fine. It's gonna kill turkeys. Get yourself maybe a couple different strikers, a waterproof striker, and maybe some other type of wood striker that goes on there, like the 2-piece diamond wood that goes with it, or something like that, and that should be more than plenty.
And so you were talking about like pre YouTube, you were looking at books and stuff. And like it's funny. I was talking about like through our Patreon and our Marco Polo group, there's guys on there that are calling turkeys and calling elk and stuff like that. And I said, back in the day, like my father-in-law, they'd be on the landline calling back and forth with listen to this call back and forth and audio tapes and I mean, John, even I think you had some, right?
Oh yeah, I had cassette tapes, and I
Really? Yeah,
I
that's
I drove all the guys that worked with nuts. I worked the third shift in a chemical plant, and I drove a high-low, and oh man, that's all I do all night long is just sit there and sit on my high-low and just just with
that's
my
awesome.
diaphragm calls. And they're like, God, when's turkey season over? I'm like, shit ain't even
Yeah.
close yet.
It's December.
Right.
That's funny.
But as far as books and stuff, I mean, the only thing that always pops up is the what is it, 10th Legion book.
Yep.
That one, and so like, what are I mean, that seems like that's the go-to resource. So I got to say that you're familiar with it. What I mean, is it like the holy grail of turkey hunting, or what's the story?
You know what? To be honest, I'm just kind of, I'm in my man cave right now, and I'm looking at, some of the books that I cut my teeth with. Some of them I hunted. I was actually able to hunt with this guy, Glenn Sapier, and uh, Bill McAllister from New York. He gave me a book. It's called Secrets of Turkey Pros. But that was kind of when I already got started. I hunted with him, and he gave me the book. Really, the books that got me going are just the Wild Turkey. It's a complete hunter. And then there's the Advanced Wild Turkey, and I think I probably read those books probably 30 times each. I mean, at that point in the game. And then Turkey Hunting and Turkey Call magazine was like the holy grail that came out like once a month for a year, and I'd like read that magazine, front and cover, and just that way. And so those books, especially the Turkey Hunter book, um I don't know, it's just a Wild Turkey Hunter. It's a hardcover book. I have it right here. It just has a big picture of a Merriam's. It says expert advanced locating and calling big birds and big gobblers. um that's that's ultimately what I did, and just watch I had hundreds of hunting videos, like Primo's hunting videos, and just old school, every series and every season that you could have, I had it. And just watched them just over and over again. I mean, and that's all I watch on YouTube now is, Pinhoti Project, and, Hunting Public, and just all sorts of stuff, just to stay in the game, and just like, hey, I want to know what he did, because like I said, I think hunting is a big part of how I'm gonna take a little bit from everybody that I am, and I'm gonna become who I want to be. Um, so it's just, that's, ultimately. And then failures. Nobody there's nobody, like I think John said, nobody was turkey hunting. Nobody, within the last 10 years it's really exploded. But you go back 20 years ago, I mean, or even 15, it was still, like, you turkey hunt, like you're fall turkey hunting, like we're deer hunting. What are you doing fall turkey hunting? But the last 10 years it's really just exploded. I would say would be a really good word for turkey hunters. But I would say 15 years ago, I mean, there was not a ton of turkey hunters. There was a handful of guys turkey hunting. And then there was even a smaller portion of guys being really successful in killing turkeys all the time.
So is there a place that you would point people that wanted to like get better, or that that there's no um, replacement for experience, right? So,
Yeah,
but if
correct.
you're trying to do it, one state, on the weekends or whatever, like that's why I was asking about the books and stuff like that. Are the books that much more beneficial, say, than to just watching it on YouTube, or do they each have their place? Or would you say that now in this day and age, you could get everything from YouTube that you could read in the books at that time?
Yeah, I think there's so many good stuff on YouTube right now that, those books are kind of like, ancient resources, right? Like, the Hunting Public has phenomenal stuff on, YouTube, and just resources. And, you got to remember, there's a time, like, also too, like, John pointed this out, like, people are just influx everywhere. Like, I'm part of the NWTF, and I take people hunting. I'm all about introducing the youth to hunting, and, being a proactive, hunter. And then it's like, but wait a minute, now my hunting spots have all the people I took in it, and now there's just people everywhere. So it's like, but I think there's just so much good information on YouTube. Like I said, this guy called, he just sent me a message the other day. Hey, this is the Saratoga Strutters on WTF. My name is so and so. I'm looking to get into turkey hunting. Can you help me out, or someone mentor me? I called the guy up. and he referred to videos. He referred to the hunting public. He referred to things on YouTube. I can only reference what I seen on YouTube, and I'll be honest, what he was saying was like, holy shit, dude, like you're spot on, man. Like, but when some of it's kind of far fetched because he's hunting New York, and he's like, I noticed like turkey habitat is, primarily around like farm fields and stuff. And I'm like, well, the public land that you're gonna hunt is not gonna have any fields on it. Like you're gonna be in big woods. You know what I mean? So you gotta know what you're looking for. If you're gonna get some private land, but area right around where we live in New York, most private land or public land that you hunt is going to be big woods. 3,000 acres, no fields on it. I mean, so when you're looking for that type of habitat on a public land around me, that's probably not gonna, not gonna happen. So then he took that stuff he learned and he's applying it. I said, go visit that piece, drive there, see if there's any turkeys. Think about what you learned on that video, and put it to use. And one of the first things he said, he goes, oh, they said there was going to be a lot of habitat, and turkeys are going to hang around a lot of habitat, but I didn't see any really habitat, but he might have neglected to see the stream that was running, a mile and a half back, or the hard ridge knob that was back there, or the giant oak collar that was back in there, because he was looking for fields. I want fields, and I want to be able to see turkeys. And what do you mean you can hunt turkeys and you don't have to see them? Those are things that you just gotta. That's where the experience comes in, right?
Sure, sure. And so on that experience thing, so you had mentioned earlier, what was it, the Super Slam? Is that what you're chasing right now?
Yeah, so I did. I've hunted now. Remember, please, I'm a school teacher. I am a working individual. I got a job Monday through Friday, and I get 5 personal days throughout the year. So I started the Grand Slam. I finished my Grand Slam. I really am interested in the Royal Slam, which is getting a Goals turkey. So a Grand Slam is the Eastern, the Osceola, the Rio, and the Merriams in the United States. To travel to get the Royal Slam, you have to go to either Mexico or draw a tag for the mountains in southern Arizona for a Gould's. Really expensive. Don't really have interest at this time in my life to do that just because of price. And then to shoot the World Slam, you have to go to Mexico to shoot the Oscillated. Again, I just don't have the time or the means to do that right now. So that's going to be on the back burner, and we'll hope. So I started this quest of this U.S. Super Slam, which is a state, kill a turkey in every state of the U.S. So 49 states, because Alaska does not have turkeys. And I've started off on fire. So I was traveling, driving through the night, trying to get through things on the weekends, getting out of work on a Friday, driving to where I need to be, being back on like, taking a Monday off and doing like 3 or 4 long weekends throughout turkey season. I got to 26 states or 25 states completed, and my son was born, my firstborn Chase. He is now 8. I am currently at 27 states completed now, and since he's 8 and he's a turkey hunter and he wants to kill turkeys, he's already killed 10 turkeys. He's 8 years old. It's just churn, man. It's all about him now. So now my passion is, I'm gonna put that on hold a little bit, my quest for the Super Slam, because it's really enjoyable to see my kid shoot a turkey. And he's just tore up with it. I mean, we're leaving to go to Kansas and South Dakota on spring break next week, so we're taking off Easter night, and we're hunting Kansas youth season for 2 days, and then we're going up and hunting the Lakota Indian Reservation in South Dakota and Kyle, and hopefully he'll be able to shoot his first Merriams and his first Rio this year. But it's just awesome. And then we're coming to Michigan late season. We're gonna hit up a Michigan on March 20 or May 22nd. So we're gonna get out that way, and I'm gonna bring them. So my turkey killing's really coming to a slow stop, but his is catching fire. Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
So yeah, so the Super Slam, I mean, I'd like to complete by the time I'm 55, but with him around, I don't think it's possible right at this point in my life. So we'll keep knocking it out and going from there. Like Michigan this year will be a new state. So my new states this year are going to be Michigan. I'm going to try to kill in New Jersey. I'm going to try to finish up Massachusetts and possibly a Pennsylvania. So those would be four new ones, which will get me, will break the 30 mark this year, which will be huge. I'll have, like 19 left, and that starts to be manageable.
Sure, sure. So on those, like, I mean, I can't even imagine how many turkeys you've killed to even have killed them in that many states already. But let's talk about like one memorable hunt, or like maybe a tough bird to kill, or one that you're the most proud of, or something like that. Have you got a, a story for us on something like that?
I'll have two stories for you. So Mississippi it was probably I hunted with my buddy Joseph Deere down there, who's a big turkey hunter, Grand Slam, World Slam. He shot them all. We hunted, some state forest land down there, bordered some state forest land. And the first year I went down there, I struck out. I had a bird come in first day, first hour, like midday, around 1 o'clock. A bird came in about 55, 60 yards, and it was like just TSS just started to come to life, but I hadn't shot it. It was in my gun. It was loaded in my Mossberg 935, and I let this bird pass because I was like, first day, I'm not going to shoot a bird at 55 yards, 60 yards first day. So I let him pass, and nothing. I had 2 more days to hunt, and I did not kill a dang turkey. So I had to go back there. And that second year I went back, um, it was just fire. I killed. I was there for 3 days. I killed two turkeys, and I watched my buddy Joe kill a turkey. And that was just it was just awesome. I mean, there are places it's tough. You can't control things like weather. Those are places that you have to go back. Some successful stuff like just to stay with it, right? Like real life experiences. Stay with it until the fat lady sings. They say, right? Like there are some moments where I was hunting Illinois, um, Iowa, and Missouri in 4 days. We had to do it. So we did Illinois, banged out Illinois, my buddy and I, first morning, boom, Illinois is done. Moving on to Missouri, moving on to Iowa. Spent 2 days in Iowa, killed a turkey in Iowa. We had one day left. And moving on to Missouri. So got to Missouri, hunted, I think it was a 5 day trip. I think I had 2 days in Missouri. Day number one struck out. Nothing really going on. Day number two, it was like the morning hunt, nothing was really going. And then, like, I guess there was a big rainstorm came through, and my buddy and I went to breakfast. I'm like, man, this has just been an awesome trip. We killed, a bunch of turkeys in a couple days, and I've knocked out two out of the three states. So we're just for shits and giggles. He's like, let's go try some state. Let's just go try some state land right around the corner here. And I'm like, Joe, so we see this giant gobbler cross the road in front of us. I mean, giant gobbler. And it was on private property. And I said, God, man, it's on private property. Now, hunting season in Missouri ends at 1 o'clock. And it's like 12 o'clock. It's noon. And we got an hour left, and that's it. Game over for that for that turkey tour. And isn't this right across the street from where this gobbler's pulling out on this farm back road? Isn't there an F-350 pulling down the driveway? Well, this little pretty little thing, she had to be in her 20s. She comes down the driveway and stops. And I went up to the car, I went up to the truck, and I said, "Ma'am," I said, "you wouldn't happen to know who owns this property, would you?" I said, I'm from New York. I'm a turkey hunter. Trying to shoot, my Super Slam, and I have literally 1 hour left in Missouri, and I'm kind of done." She goes, "Well, that land right there is my daddy's land." I said, "Oh God." I said, she goes, "My daddy's home. You can go right up to the house and ask to talk to him." So I went up there, and he was the nicest man. He goes, "I tell you what," he goes, "you got an hour to kill that turkey." and then the season's over and you got to go home anyways. He goes, what the hell? He goes, try it for an hour. So there was a drainage ditch that like kind of was like carved out, and I ran down the drainage ditch to try to get in. And doesn't this gobbler, isn't he coming? Along, there's a pinch point between the drainage ditch and the pond, and this gobbler's just funneling here by the grace of God. And I ended up shooting him. It was like 12:30 when I killed him, and I went back up there, and it was just one of those things where you think you're out of the game, and then it's just like, man, your luck just changes in the last second. So never think you're out of the game. I had a buddy just text me in Florida. He's like, dude, it's crickets. There's nothing down here. I'm like, man, just stay after it. I said, you got a day left. Just hunt hard. He sends me a picture today of a dead gobbler. It's just those things. You can never give up. It's just like life, right? I mean, just stay with it till the end, and good things will happen.
John's chuckling. You got to be thinking about your trip out west this year.
Oh, would you have a deer trip out there?
Oh man, I had a 3-week. I was out in Montana for 3 weeks chasing antelope, elk, and mule deer. So I only came home with a mule deer. So yeah, it was a lot of fun, but it was tough. Should have killed a big elk and just didn't capitalize on it.
But I had the same thing with the farmer on the land. John's got all this crap laid out, and
it was the very first day I got out, and I was in eastern Montana, and I just picked a spot on the map like BLM, and I chased these freaking. Ended up finding some whole herd of them, and had a shot. It just didn't work out, and it was. I got back to the truck, and it was like, shit. Almost 8 hours after I'd left, no water, nothing in the heat, and I was pretty much just like, I was laying next to my truck in my chair, like sprawled out with just I had no shirt on, my pants were pulled all the way up, they looked like, some hillbilly shorts, and here comes this dude in the truck, and we wave, at each other, and he goes over the cattle grade onto the private, and he backs up. Well, there was a herd of antelope right there, and he backs up. He's like, hey, you hunting antelope? I'm like, yep. He's like, well, I own this section and this one right here. You can kill all you want. Fill your tags. I'm like, oh. Just awesome dude, but I was wiped out at that point. I ended up chasing him that afternoon, but then I had to head west to hook up with my buddy for the elk. But
that's awesome.
But yeah, cool. Nice people.
It's funny how things work out, and that's the best part about doing that is you get to meet, you truly get to meet, I mean, just through this, I met you two guys, through turkey hunting.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like I have met some of the best people that walk this planet through doing what I love to do, and it's awesome, man. I mean, it's just a great experience. People like you said in Montana that just willing to give you, hey, there, just go do whatever you want. There's a bunch of animals over there.
Right.
Yeah,
he's like, even go up by the house. He's like, up by my house up there is the creek. They love to hang out up there too. Like, oh, sweet.
Yeah.
But so one question I always ask is, what's your bow setup? But do you bow hunt turkeys also, or just gun?
So I do. So I traveled one time, John, to bow hunt turkeys. I went to Kansas, where I'm bringing my son this year, and actually, it's funny because you asked me because I'm going back with a crossbow this year. But I do bow hunt turkeys now, and as the first time I ever traveled, because I thought I wanted to shoot my Grand Slam with a bow, and I had plenty of opportunities. I had no idea what went on, but I missed 4 or 5 shots with my bow at turkeys that were literally 10 yards, 15 yards. I mean, just give me shots. But I'm out in the middle. I forgot my tent stakes. The wind's blowing. My blinds rocking back and forth. So I'm spread eagle in the middle of the blind. You can only imagine what it looks like. I'm trying to hold the ground blind down, draw my bow, and I'm slinging arrows at this turkey, and this thing's just standing there. I'm like, oh my God. But I enjoy it. But I'll be honest, I do not like them to flop. I don't like them to run away. I get freaked out. So I'm not like a giant bow hunter. My preferred setup right now at this current time is the like the turkey guillotine setup.
Yep.
I really enjoy that. I've shot a bunch of turkeys with a bow. In the fall, I enjoy hunting, fall turkeys with a bow. I shot a cool bearded hen on tape once with a bow and arrow, but I have a Bowtech equalizer that I shoot, and I just shoot the what is it, the 2-inch rage hypodermics or whatever at turkeys, and have success. But I prefer a gun, my man. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't like to watch them go away.
Right.
It gives me really bad anxiety. But so yeah,
cool deal.
fun stuff, man.
I suck at it. I've I've blown so many chances at turkeys with the bow that.
But he's blown so many chances at turkeys with a bow that now he's going to go after him with a trad bow.
Because
I thought that's what you said. You were going to go after him with some sort of bow this spring or something, right?
Oh yeah. So how long have we been just strictly bow hunting turkeys? Like
4 years.
It's been like 4 or 5. Oh, it's got to be 5 years, I think, because it was before we even started the podcast when I shot the one without telling you.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think I've shot at 5 or 6 turkeys now, and I've yet to bring one home. And the one was like 5 yards.
Smoked the decoy.
Really?
Shot the decoy.
Frickin' 10-ring the decoy.
I have a buddy, Steve Brown from Mississippi. This man is that's all he does is kill turkeys with a bow. And I believe last year he killed his 130th turkey with a recurve.
Holy.
Yeah, this guy is an assassin. And I just saw the other day today on Facebook, my buddy Sandy Brady from North Carolina there. I don't know if you guys ever heard of him or not. But he hunts turkeys with a sling bow, and he just killed his second Osceola with a sling bow, and I was like, man, that is cool.
Yeah, I just figure, and I've been shooting the longbow really well. Not to say that I wasn't shooting my regular bow very well, so I don't know what that even matters. Just that I can hit what I'm aiming at with it. But it's like, if I'm gonna screw it up, I might as well screw it up big time. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. It's gonna be super fun and interesting anyway. Because the thing is freaking 62 inches long, so just trying to tote it around, but I don't know.
You gotta have a tall ground blind.
We're gonna have to have a teepee for this one.
yeah, you gotta go old school for that. Oh man,
we'll just cut the top out of our tent.
You like the Flintstone mobile.
Right. That was me last year.
That's awesome, man.
I think Adam put a video. After we had set up on that bird up in the roost, I was like, screw this, let's move. So I jumped I just stayed in the tent. And of course it was the COVID. So Adam had been sitting outside anyway. And I just grabbed it and started, sneaking through, and I'm looking out, and all you can see is my feet.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun, but we don't take ourselves too seriously.
No, you can't do that. That's part of the fun too. Is being able to turkey hunt with people, and I always have someone with me. I very rarely, like before school, I'll sneak in. Like when I want to kill a turkey, I'll kill my turkeys before school, and then I'll jump right there. But most of the time on weekends, I'm taking people or taking kids or just. It's just fun to hunt with people. It's, like you said, it's that fun part. That guy Todd, I don't know, you talked to Todd there about deer hunting a little bit. I took him on an awesome Adirondack turkey hunt last spring that was just insane. And we got a hen fired up too, but yeah, it's just good going with people and meeting people.
So, like, I know you said you didn't want to do like a whole lot of self-promotion or anything, but like, where can people follow along, or if they want to check out your calls or anything, where can people like check out your stuff?
Yeah, you can check out my stuff. Facebook, you can follow me, TJ Jordan, Dirt Nap Calls on, I have a website, Dirt Nap Turkey Calls, I have it's like a turkey call website. and that's probably, the best place to get a hold of me. And feel free to contact me about any turkey information you may have, or however I can assist you.
And
Sweet.
so, I guess for your calls, like, do you have like for mouth calls and stuff? Would you recommend? Do you have like a beginner mouth call or anything where you would point guys who wanted to
Yeah,
support you and said,
I
I
would
don't know how to
say,
call turkeys?
yeah, you're right. You're right. It's a really complicated process, and that's probably a whole nother podcast, to be honest. But the gist of it is guys who want to learn to call a mouth call, they really need to spend some time in front of the mirror and figure out where they call out of their mouth. Do they blow out of the center? Do they blow out of the left? Or do they blow out of the right? So naturally, when you start to huff, you know, air out of your diaphragm to call turkey, your tongue or your mouth is going to want to gravitate to one side or the other. So you're either going to be a center mass blower right out of the center of your mouth, or you're going to blow left or you're going to blow right. When you figure that out, those are the calls that I'd want to target at that point. I do make a call it's called a Phenom. That is probably one of my number one selling calls. It's a 4,000 read over, a 3,000 over a piece of prof. So it's just under 10 thousandths total thickness, which is pretty thin, to be honest with you, and it's not stretched terribly tight. My I guess my feedback on it is it's really easy blowing. Guys can purr on it, guys can cut on it, guys can yelp on it. They get loud, they get soft. That's probably one of my one of my one of my fan favorites. The other one is a serpentine that I sell. It's a 3,000ths over two pieces of probe, so it's very, it kind of looks like a snake tongue kind of in the center. It's more meant for kind of like guys that are sure where they blow out of, but a guy just wants to blow a good turkey call because it's caught left and right. And that phenom, that first one I talked about, is more of a center mass, right over the center of the call, because it's a split V basically. It's a modified split V, so it's a V with a corners cut off of it. Um, yeah, so I mean, it's good stuff, but I can, you can look at anything on my website, or I can custom make anything. I had a guy show up to that today at the house, and I made him a 3-reed ghost cut out of all prophylactic. I don't sell it, but he wanted to try something different, and I spent some time with him, and we just figured that's kind of what he's going to blow the best. So, I can custom make stuff, or just the easiest way, shoot me a message, and we can talk about what would work the best for you.
Well, awesome, man. I appreciate it, and it's a great conversation. And like I said, I think it's going to help people like kind of getting started on like basically, you know, I guess to build their confidence and to say you don't need to be great. You just need to get out
Yeah,
there
and
and do it.
I think you're right. I mean, I think there is a lot of confidence. You kind of touched on that. Like there is a side, like, how close do I get? How close do I not get? Like, there's times where I'm like, man, I'm getting, guys freak out when I tell them, like, yeah, like, I think John said you roosted some turkeys, and, you didn't know where they are. Now, field birds, if I roost a turkey on a field bird, like, because I've seen it and I've done it, I'll literally take that ground blind. If there's a bird on the edge of the woods in the field and I watched him fly up the night before and I know where he went to and I think he's going to pitch down, I'll put a ground blind in the center of the field the morning before. I'll pop it up there and I'll be looking at that turkey in the roost. And when I tell that to guys, most guys are deer hunters and they're like, wait a minute here. You popped a ground blind up in the morning, and this turkey's gonna see this ground blind in the field, and he's gonna come down to it. Like when I'm taking my son, youth hunting, because sometimes he's so young, we need a ground blind, field situations around here. But they're like, yeah, you literally put a ground blind in front of that turkey, looking at that turkey in the woods about 50 to 75 yards off that, maybe 100 off that wood line, because you don't want him, I don't want him to ever fly over my ground blind. Um, and then it comes into, like, I remember hunting a distinct hunt. I was hunting in Pennsylvania with my buddy Job, and we were hunting during youth season. So he had his nephew Seth with him, and I had my son Chase. And we watched these turkeys fly up the night before. They were on the side of a mountain road, literally roosting above the road. And we got looking at this apple orchard field that went up to the mountain. I mean, it's big, giant, probably 300-acre field that was just huge. So I got looking at the contour. It's almost like looking at a landing strip at an airport. I'm like, Joe, these turkeys are above us. They're going to pitch out of here and they're going to land right here. So we set a ground blind up right there. And this turkey pitches down and comes out of the tree and lands, boom, right next to the ground blind. My son shoots that one at 8 yards. And mind you, we set it up that morning. My son shoots that one at 8 yards, and another one pitches down and comes right to the decoy, and we ended up doubling that morning with youth. And I guess just be confident and try things that, like you said, like what's too close? You know what I mean?
Right.
And if it's close enough and you booger them, so what? There's other turkeys. I mean, you figure it out. You can get close, but those are confidence things that I guess. When I tell that story to guys that you can set a ground blind up and look at a turkey in the field, they look at me like I'm like I've never done it and you're crazy. It's just nuts. I can't even tell you how many times I've learned that, but I've done that, killed turkeys. But
that's what I was going to say right there. That's learning experience. Even if you screw it up, you learn something.
Yeah, that's it.
That's knowledge that you're going to put in the bank for later.
Yeah, that's it. And guys are like, oh, yeah, just try it, man. One time, put that ground blind. You got to get in there early. If you're not set up before, you guys are about the same latitude as we are. So it gets sun up we start killing turkeys in late spring at 5:15, is legal killing time. So, you got to be there and set up by 4 o'clock. I mean, if you're any later and that ground blind is not set up by 4 o'clock, like you said, when those turkeys went under you, you weren't expecting those turkeys to be above you. And now, if you were going to sit there right underneath them, those turkeys more than likely heard you.
Oh yeah.
Walking around because you weren't expecting them to be right above your head. Now, if you were going to go, if you knew they were in those trees and you went in there an hour earlier and you sat down, those turkeys probably would have flew down. You would have killed them. You know what I mean? But just because you walked in, in there and they knew something wasn't right, and it was probably, not too far between that, that magic hour there, then, that's all learning experience stuff. But I've sat right under turkeys that, just getting in early because I know they're there. I know, Dave Owens does it. He likes to be off them, but guys I don't think they know how close you can get, and I think guys would be, if I took a video of how close is close, they'd be like, holy shit, this is close.
Oh yeah.
So, well, cool, fellas. I truly appreciate it. It's been fun, and hopefully somebody learned something from it.
Oh yeah, for sure. And like I said, I just appreciate it, and we'll have to catch up after our season, or when you come to Michigan. Definitely get a hold of me, and we'll see if you can't, make the most of your time. We'll tell you where there's some birds that are, unkillable birds. We'll give you
that's
a
it.
challenge.
That's what we like. So,
awesome, man. Well, I appreciate it.
Well, thanks, Adam. I appreciate it, fellas. You guys have a good one.
Yep. Yeah, you too.
All right.